Hello, my name is Marissa Leone, and I'm a member of the Healthcare Applications team here at Dimensional Insight. Today I'm going to be discussing some of the universal attributes that can be used to specify components within the stamp grammar. So in this video, we'll be going through the attributes used by all component types. We'll also be discussing the time range, as it is used by multiple components, including the indicator and charts. Additional information on all these topics can be found within the documentation help pages. So the common attributes are position, size, style, and click actions. These are the ones that will work amongst all the component types. And by component types, I'm referring to charts, indicators, texts. Think of the portlet types within the regular non-stamp dashboards. So the first is position. Position defines where in the stamp the component will sit. So do you want it in the upper left corner or the lower right corner? The position is where this would be specified. There are two sub-attributes, top and left. Top will specify how close to the top of the stamp you want it. So this would be used to raise or lower the component. And then left is how many pixels from the left edge of the stamp. So you would use it if you want to adjust the component left or right. So you would set position, and then you set your top, and you set your left. And then size. For all components besides text and images, the size tag is required. On text and image, you can use size, but it will work without it. There are two sub-attributes, width, which is the integer pixel width of the component, and then height, which is the pixel height of the component. And you set this just like the position, where you set the size, and then the width, and the height. And style. The style tag is used to define visual properties, such as font, font size, and font weight, as well as background information, like on the general stamp style tag. So an example of this is seen below. We can set what we want our background color, as well as our font size, our weight. Do we want it bolded, italicized? We can do that through the style. So let's stop and do a quick demonstration of this. So here we have our current yesterday small stamp. This is the stamp we're going to be using as an example throughout this video. So we have our first component, which is our text component. We've set our position as 15 to 15. So it's going to be 15 down from the top, and then 15 across from the left. And then size. We don't have to set the size because this is a text component, but we can if we'd like. And this is basically just going to say how big or small do you want the component. And then style. So we've set a font, a size, and a weight. So if we go to the page, we can now see our stamp, which has our background information. Here's the component that we've been changing, the text for the measure. And let's say we want to make the text a little bigger. We can go here, and I'm going to change the font size to 20. I'm going to save. And then back on my DivePort, I'm going to press refresh. As you can see, it just got bigger. So this is how you would adjust any part of the component within the stamp. So now click actions. Click actions are what allow you to further interact with your DivePort data by clicking on a number and launching another page or action. Anyone familiar with the DivePort pages within the Measure Factory will recognize this because all of our numbers are always live. So click actions can be added to any component type, and there are three main types of click actions: analysis, portal page, and crosslink. Although crosslink is used significantly less than analysis and portal page. So before I get too far into those, I'm just going to give you a quick demonstration. So clicking on any number will always launch the default analysis. So this is going to use the analysis click action. And then when we click on the information icon, we're going to launch the measure overview page. This is true for both stamps and for non-stamp portlets. Within a stamp portlet, we do this by setting the click action to portal page. So both the analysis and the portal page click actions allow the user to display another page. You can do this either as a pop-up or you can have it take you to the other page. You want to use analysis when referencing a page that has an analysis portlet on it, such as the default analysis. And you'll use the portal page tag when referencing a regular DivePort page, such as the measure overview. So these click actions have several components. You're going to want to set the scope, then the label. So that's just going to be how it displays in the DivePort. The page ID, which is going to reference what page you want the click action to show. Optionally, you can set it to show a measure or a factory if you're using a DivePort that has multiple factories in it. You can set the size of the pop-up, and if you don't want it to be a pop-up, then you can set pop-up false. So the default will be that a quick action will result in a pop-up, but if you add the pop-up false, then it will take you to that page. So for the default analysis, for each number, you're going to have to set the quick action for each of the components. So here we have our quick action, and we have analysis. We've set our scope to row, because when we click on the number, it's going to launch, and it's only going to use that one number. We have our label of default analysis, and then we're referencing our page and our pop-up size. So we can see here that this is our pop-up, and then that default analysis label is up here. So the label controls the text seen here. Now, what about how do we get the quick action from this information icon? So here we have our information icon, and we're setting our image URL. We've set our position, and then we can add a quick action. We're setting it to portal page because this is not an analysis. We wanted to use the portlet because we want to be able to click on the entire image portlet and launch it. The label is measure overview, and then we're referencing our page ID, our pop-ups, and that we wanted to show whatever measure is clicked on. So then we click here, and we can see our label measure overview, and it takes us to the correct page. So the other type of quick action is cross-link. This quick action links two portlets that are on the same page. So if data is updated in the first portlet, then the quick action will trigger the second portlet to change. This quick action has the following components. You can use the scope or the label, and this is not commonly used currently. And for more information on how this works, please see the documentation. Now for time series. So while this will not work for every component, time series is a common attribute which allows you to select the time range a component looks at. This is available for the indicator, chart, matrix, and measures portlets. So for time series, we mainly use our basic time series. This defines the measure value as a basic time series column. There are two sub-attributes to this. You're going to set the range, and that specifies the date range, such as the year to date, the complete year, or as in the image here, the complete day. You're also going to set the variation. So this specifies the time period, such as current or previous. Here we're looking at previous, so this would get us the previous day, so yesterday. And here's a list of all of the ranges and the variations that can be used. You can see we have a number of ranges such as year to date, year to complete month, complete year, complete week, complete day, rolling 12 months, and more. For variation, we can also look at anything for the current, for the previous year, and then the variances, the current versus previous year, and the percents. Here, let's just see how this works. We have our yesterday indicator component, and we're looking at the time series is a range of CD and a variation of P. So when we go to the stamp, this value will show us yesterday's value. For our month-to-date indicator, we're looking at the month-to-date range with the current variation. So here we have our yesterday, and that was the CDP, and then our month-to-date. In addition to the basic time series, there are also three types of advanced time series. absolute, relative, and to date. These can be used within stamps as well as within the non-stamp portlets, and more information on these can be found in the documentation. So in conclusion, the attributes position, size, style, and cook actions can be used for all components, while the indicator, chart, matrix, and measures components can use the time series attribute. Each component and attribute has its own options and requirements, so we encourage consulting the help documentation for more information.